perfect poached egg is a delicate balance of physics and chemistry, where the goal is to trap a molten, golden yolk inside a tender, opaque shell of set protein. It is a dish that has humbled many home cooks, often resulting in a pot full of wispy, shredded whites and a yolk that is either overcooked or leaking into the water. But the difference between a kitchen disaster and a restaurant-quality breakfast isn't luck, it is a precise manipulation of heat and structure. At the heart of this process is the science of protein denaturation. Think of the egg white as a collection of tightly coiled, microscopic springs. In its raw state, these proteins are folded in on themselves, suspended in a liquid matrix. When you introduce heat, you are essentially providing the energy required for those springs to uncoil. Once they stretch out, they begin to bond with their neighbors, creating a complex, interconnected web that transforms the liquid into a solid. This is the moment of transformation, but it is also where the timing becomes critical. Temperature control is the primary variable you must master. Egg whites are sensitive creatures. They begin their transition from liquid to solid at about 140 degrees Fahrenheit. The yolk, however, is a bit more stubborn, requiring a slightly higher temperature of around 150 degrees to thicken into that signature jammy consistency. If your water is at a rolling boil, the turbulence will tear the delicate whites apart before they have a chance to bond, and the intense heat will likely overcook the yolk before you can pull it out. A gentle, barely visible simmer is the sweet spot. It provides enough energy to denature the proteins without the violent agitation that ruins the aesthetic. But even with the perfect temperature, you have likely encountered the problem of the egg spreading across the entire pot. This is where the age of the egg plays a silent, yet decisive role. As an egg sits in your refrigerator, the chemical structure of the white begins to break down. The thick, viscous proteins that hold the white tight against the yolk gradually lose their integrity, becoming thinner and more watery. When you crack an older egg into water, that thin, watery portion has no structural strength and immediately drifts away. A fresh egg, by contrast, has a high viscosity white that naturally clings to the yolk, acting as its own protective barrier. If you want to give your eggs an extra advantage, you can manipulate the chemistry of the poaching liquid itself. Adding a splash of vinegar to the water lowers the pH level, making the environment more acidic. This acidity acts as a catalyst for the denaturation process. It encourages the proteins in the white to bond and solidify almost instantly upon contact with the water. This rapid setting creates a protective seal, preventing the white from wandering off into the pot and keeping the shape compact and elegant. There is also the mechanical approach, the vortex method. By stirring the water in a circular motion before dropping the egg in, you create a gentle whirlpool. The centrifugal force of this vortex wraps the white around the yolk, effectively holding it in place while the heat does its work. It is a simple physical intervention that mimics the natural structure of a fresh egg, ensuring that the white sets in a neat, rounded package. When you combine these elements, using the freshest eggs you can find, maintaining a gentle, controlled simmer, adding a touch of acid to speed up the protein bonding, and using a vortex to guide the shape, you move away from guesswork and into the realm of culinary science. You are no longer hoping for a good result, you are engineering it. The final product should be a soft, trembling orb that yields to the slightest pressure of a fork, releasing a rich, velvety yolk that acts as a sauce for whatever lies beneath. Mastering this technique is not just about making breakfast, it is about understanding how the invisible forces of heat and chemistry can be harnessed to create something truly refined. Once you see the process as a series of manageable variables, the perfect poached egg becomes an everyday reality.